Now, before the 12th edition of the Abbeys kicked in, the new organising committee's goal was to keep the spotlight on the youth, and justifiably so. This is indeed a festival for the youth. They said time and again, it's a festival for advertising, by advertising and to advertising. But did it deliver? The promise to reach out to the young Jones was floating all over the media. But Brand Equity, on the flip side, decided to give the youth the centre stage, a voice and an opportunity to review the festival itself. Dear advertising fraternity, we suggest you sit up and pay attention as the young guns get candid and critique the Oscars of Indian advertising like never before. Take it away. We're at Goafest 2017 and instead of talking to the managing committee, instead of talking to the old foggies who curate this festival, we thought let's get a reality check and talk to the young guns, the future of this industry, and the people for whom this Goafest is actually curated. We thought we'd do some hard talk with the young guns because nobody is more candid than the young folks in advertising and marketing. So thank you so much for taking time out. I have a diverse set of people from across agencies and across fields. So it's going to be very interesting for you to watch what these people have to say and hopefully take notes because, you know, something good can come out of it. On that note, I'm going to open this. Let's talk about the speaker lineup because that is obviously the pillar of any festival or any summit. So let's start with the speaker lineup. What's your view on the speaker lineup?
So I've been coming to Goafest on and off since 2007, and I've seen all sorts of lineups, and this one honestly is possibly the most disappointing. Okay, so my sense on this entire thing is the fact that as advertising people, we are constantly selling things. It's not nice to go to a festival and be sold to. All right, so I turn up. So I think every speaker whom we've encountered over the last couple of days has been selling something or the other. Exception probably being Eric Cruz, who, while he did show a lot of his work, he focused more on the learning aspect of it as opposed to the selling aspect of it. So I think that's an area for improvement for sure. So
anybody else have a point of view?
I'd like to see more global leaders and more global creatives around because Eric Cruz was a great idea, having him on board. But like the
He seems to be a hit, huh?
Yeah, he was like brilliant. So was Juhi Kalia, but like all the others were just unnecessary. So maybe get some creative people who won't sell us stuff. Sanjay Dutt talking about drugs and how he got hash from his school is not relevant just because it's Goafest.
Adding to his point, he very well said that few people are really good, few speakers are really good. But having Sanjay Dutt or Geeta Phogat in the speakers lineup I don't think is relevant at this point of time. Of course, we love them; they are stars. But then, in a summit where we were looking forward to learning more about advertising, marketing, branding, knowing their inspirational stories, or knowing their personal experiences, I don't think so. It added somewhere, anywhere to us.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Now the deal is, as a client, I would come here to expect that you would take 3 things you would do next year will be part of your marketing plan. You would meet the speakers, you would collaborate and create something which will fill my nomination list for next year Abbeys, right? That is the intent, pretty much. I don't think that served the purpose, one. Second, the kind of content, and adding to what a lot of people said here, Miss Malinis of the world are being paid by Goafest to promote themselves. I mean, it's funny to that extent, right? Right. And the final point on this is even the other speakers who were sort of in the serious zone
were ill-prepared.
I don't know, ill-prepared or something. It should have been a knowledge exchange rather than telling what they have done. And yeah, I don't think that was done at all. So
sure. So yeah, let's go with her.
What I would have loved to understand is each speaker taking up their case study, a particular brand's case study, and speaking on it from end to end. So while Mr. Malik of ITC did touch upon certain case studies, but it was all very quick, you know, it was not like in-depth. But so what I would recommend is instead of keeping a 20-minute session where you can't really cover a case study, rather have more an elongated session, less speakers, elongated sessions where they can take up a particular case study and, you know, talk about it from an advertising, marketing, you know, covering all the 4 Ps and stuff like that.
I do feel that a lot of the sessions weren't relevant.
Yeah.
And since all advertising fests run heavily on juries, I think there should be a young jury which gets to vote about who they want to listen to.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, it makes zero sense for us to come here and listen to
I
irrelevant
think
stuff.
there is a disconnect. I think for the people on the top and the young delegates,
Yeah.
and I think that experience mismatch is more than evident, and I think it's becoming evident year after year.
Yeah.
I think this year the speaker lineup was, way off the center and not in a good way.
Some of us who are sitting here should be part of the management committee next year. Maybe that ways we'll be able to better align the expectations from the younger audience.
I think it's very optimistic for you guys to be at the management committee, although I think it's a great idea.
Advisory committee?
I think, yes, they should make a young advisory committee and they should have you people curate the festival for 1 year as just a test. Let's see what happens. Let's see what the young people want.
The thing here is that, when you come to a place like this, you want to understand where advertising is going. And let's be honest, advertising is going through this major change right now.
Sure.
So you come to a place like this and you want to understand that where are we going next?
Yep.
What's happening next?
Yes.
And I think apart from one session, which was, the tsunami of the future, I don't really know if anybody touched base on the fact that there's a lot of change that's happening.
It's a good point.
That change needs to start from here and then go ahead.
Yeah.
So I think that's a recommendation I would like to make, or that change needs to start.
You're
here.
right, because actually there was no session that talked about the future or the state of advertising as it is today. So we really don't know.
And it's everybody's point of discussion right now, right? Where is advertising going finally? What's happening to ATL?
Yeah.
So I think
As a creative person, one of the things that I get very often on my desk is a creative brief. Okay, and one of the things that is part of the creative brief is how do you want your consumer to feel? All right, and I think that's a good question for festivals to be asking themselves at this point,
or asking you guys, or the
asking
consumers.
us, okay, because now having attended Cannes last year, okay, I know that this was my sense of it last year. The focus was how the client is a part of the creative team now. That was the general sense of what I got out of Cannes last year. But this time, I really don't know what to take out of Goafest because there's so many things happening. And really, if anything, the one thing I can take out of it is probably the free beer.
Free beer for sure.
I think that's disappointing to say the least, because I mean, if it's beer and it's partying, I can have that back in Bombay. Why do I come all the way to Goa to spend my weekend over here and not learn anything?
Sure. So all of you are from the advertising industry, right? All of you are following what's been happening. We have a lot of agencies this time who have decided not to participate. Hence, it's not really a fair playing field to judge work. Yeah. What do you think of all these people who sometimes participate and get off? It's almost like it's fashionable not to participate. Or do you think that the committee somewhere is not being able to make it a credible awards show? What is your view?
So I'm just going to call out the elephant in the room, okay? Exactly 1 month from now, we're all going to be at the same place for Curious.
Yeah.
All right? And we're going to see all the same agencies who didn't participate this time around over here. And so what is Curious doing that is right that Goafest isn't? I'll tell you.
Tell me.
Okay, number one is they have a super transparent judging system. All right? So you can actually turn up over there and actually watch the jury in action.
It's an open judging system.
It's an open judging system. Okay, number one. Number two is they haven't turned it into a mutual masturbation society. All right, I'm sorry. I'm being very, very candid. Okay, and they've done that. Why? Because they've cut down on they've ensured that it isn't an only all Indian jury. Okay, we all know how judging happens. We all know how lobbying happens. We all know what works and what doesn't. Okay, so my point over here is that why can't we get international people on the jury? Okay, that solves one problem. All right, because you're going to be getting a third person's perspective. Okay, and you're going to ensure that people can't lobby to the extent that they actually do.
But do you guys have a problem with the current jury process? Does anybody have a problem?
I was just thinking about it, like watching the awards and coming here a lot of times. When we win an award, we feel happy for bronze, gold, silver, but we'd also like some critique from the masters. So if they could give us some feedback to add to what he was saying as well, as to why did you win this or why didn't you place if you were nominated, it would really help us improve our work.
You guys have sat into awards. Do you feel that the best work is winning?
I just have a point to make here. Now, we have been talking about technology a lot. if they are not showing the work, at least give us some kind of a linkage, some kind of QR code, some kind of an SMS that, you know, you'll get a link to see this particular work. Because yesterday we were sitting in awards and, being an activation heavy agency, we really wanted to see what the likes of Social Street has done. But there was no way to find out. You know, now we are into uncharted territories. We have to actually go and Google it out, that what was all about. If they can give us a platform, an entire board in which a QR codes and everything is mapped, I think that will be a brilliant idea to go forward.
Knowledge sharing should be something which should be ruling the roost instead of, you know, entertainment and fun and beer and
celebrities,
music and celebrities, of course, not to forget.
Earlier you said that the bigger agencies aren't coming for Goafest, but the answer lies here, that there is this image that Goafest has created, that it's for fun. It's not. It's nothing. Nobody's going to learn it.
It's a perception problem.
Exactly. No, it's a non-serious festival, which is why even the bigger agencies don't take it seriously.
I wanted to just put out the fact that, okay, so bigger agencies do apply, they don't nominate, but the number of nominations they put in, so the competition ends there only. If you put in entries for 100 entries for one particular thing, then of course you get much more chances to win.
A single campaign basically can make you the winner.
Yeah, putting one campaign in, I guess, 5 categories, of course you'll get more chances to win. So that of course leaves a fact that, no, maybe you should limit it out.
Yep. Your point is well noted.
Maybe.
Well noted. Everybody knows who you're talking about as
well.
Do you think the Goafest, which is meant to be for people to network, meet their gurus, interact, in a manner where all together, do you think somewhere there is a casteist system, because you really don't have any opportunity or space to meet them? Where are they? They're sitting in their CEO lounge, right? And you guys are here drinking away to glory. So there is no meeting ground at all. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn works better than coming to Goafest to try to network. So
wow,
that's my take.
That's harsh.
This is an advertising and a creative fest. I do not see creativity around. There is no ambient media which shows you some kind of creativity. You go to a Collaba social which shows you more creativity than everybody else. So that's where you need to improve here. You need to inspire the creativity amongst this young batch of people. And that's where Goafest itself needs to market itself creatively.
Yesterday, to find out where the masterclass was happening, me and my team, we are about 8 of us from HCL Technologies here. We had to speak to about 10 or 11 people to get there. The QR codes were not working. You scanned them. First you had to install an app because the feature was not there on the Goafest app. Okay, there was no map. Now, when you scanned the QR code, it showed map_4, but there was no map. Okay. So the experience went for a toss. And advertising is all about experience management. If Goafest, Abby's and the TAC, AAAI do not take care of the experience, it's going to die its death sooner or later.
I have a couple of points. Okay, Number one, maybe it's a really stupid small point, but I'm going to say it anyway. But how many of you guys saw the website? It was god awful. It was one of the worst sites I've seen in my life. All right, it was a disaster in UX. Okay, it was just ugly. All right, I'm sorry, it was just plain ugly. And I think for people who are coming to Goafest for the first time, that's a really bad pre-invite. You know, that's the first thing you see. And as an advertising festival, if you can't do your advertising right, I think you have a problem.
Fair enough. On that note, thank you so much, young girls and boys, and hopefully, people in power will watch this, will take notes, and will implement. Maybe next year we will have this young advisory committee that will curate it. Maybe, we have to hope for the best. Maybe it will fall on deaf ears, I don't know. But we've got to try our bit. On that note, thank you so much, and have a great time this evening. And with that, we're completely out of time, but we hope you enjoyed the show. Do take the time and drop us a line at brandequity@etnow.tv, or alternatively, log on to our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/brandequity. And just like the managing committee, we'd like some feedback too. So do write in and tell us what you thought of our special show. You could do the same on Twitter @brandequitylive. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Until then, ciao, ciao.